I tell you, we wouldn't be here without Sharon, and I don't just mean here, I mean here in general. So, I mean, yeah, you know me too well.
So, good morning, everyone, farmers, ranchers, board members. My name is Sharon Hurd. I'm with the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity now. And good morning to the most important people in the room, and that's the farmers and ranchers that grow the food that we need to be sustained. Recognizing in the back of the room, we have Representative Matthias Kusch. He is a VIP in that he is the vice chair in the House Committee of Agriculture. And the bill that Jane referred to earlier, the cottage food industries, he was a champion of that. So you can thank him for that. Very, very supportive of ag, so thank you so much, Representative. Okay, so this organization was a twinkle in Jane and Ken's eye for years. And then the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program was announced by the feds back in the mid-2000s. I think it was about 2007. And then it became more and more important to this United States because Hawaii only has specialty crops. We don't have wheat and rice and corn, we don't. So with the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program, Ken has come up, and you'll hear, if you're gonna come tomorrow, the same opening, but Ken started with many, many projects that led to where we are today. As I said, this Hawaii Master Food Preservers was just a twinkle in their eye. They've come through many, many challenges, they really have. There's a lot of challenges to do what you guys are doing, and so congratulations for coming this far. Thank you, Ken, thank you, Jane. Okay, so my presentation is pretty much about the way things are today on a federal level and what you can do and kind of bring it all home to the Master Food Preservers. So, next slide. So the impacts of the federal policies. There's some good news. The good news is that the federal policy is that farmers first includes ranchers and growers. And that is because it favors production, okay? And in other venues, I can't say this part, but the reason that it favors production is over conservation, over environmental issues. And I know everybody in this room is for the environment, right? But we have lost a lot of ground to environmental causes. They're gonna choose environment over food growing. So now we're inching our way back through the current administration is working us through Act 90. So programs that favor production, America First, Hawaii's a state. So whenever we are in that arena, we address the barriers and say, hey, you know what? We're a state. You're taking limes and products from Mexico. Mexico has citrus greening. Why are you doing that? We don't have citrus greening. We're a state. Let us in. Oh, but you guys got fruit flies. Yeah, so does Mexico. So come on, let's address, it's a part of the federal CFR that's 318. It kind of groups Hawaii in with the territories, and we're saying, take us out of that group. We need to be treated like a state that we are. So working towards that, we're close. We're starting with wasabi, and you're gonna say, why wasabi, right? But wasabi because the United States of America doesn't grow wasabi. We have no competition. We have no bugs, so it's kind of like an entree. And after wasabi, we'll do ginger and turmeric and the different rhizomes that are in that class. And then we'll move to avocados and citrus. So we're kind of like working our way in as the America First type of thing. Okay, now there's other programs that payments are going direct to farmers and ranchers. A lot of the federal programs that were canceled involved middlemen. They involved nonprofits, they involved universities, agencies, and that's bad. I'm not saying that's good. That's bad. But the programs that they're offering, the ones that we were just successful in getting almost $8.9 million, the payments go direct to you. The money goes direct to the farmers. So it's from the Department of Agriculture to you. So those are the kinds of program positive impacts that are doing. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. That's right up our alley. We've got nothing but healthy foods. We've got everything we grow is healthy. So we're trying to get the nutraceutical. Our marketing team was in Hawaii on the Hill, and they were promoting our healthy kalamungai, turmeric, noni. So we're right in there. We have a niche. Who doesn't know that we have nutraceuticals, cultural, and medical that we can promote, focus on health. Now here's the most timely one. The current federal policy is to restore the American diet. So what's the American diet? It's beef and whole dairy. It's beef and dairy, okay? The idea is that we didn't have all these diseases when we had an American diet, right? But then we kind of died early too. Our lifespan has kind of been extended. So nevertheless, yesterday, Secretary Rollins announced huge programs for beef. She's opening up grazing lands that were currently managed by BLM, Bureau of Land Management. It's always been a big fight between the ranchers in the U.S., right? We want to graze on public lands, and it came to a standoff at one time, those of us that remember those days. But now Secretary Rollins is opening up public lands to grazing. So that's happening. They're taking away a lot of the endangered species restrictions that prevented ranchers from entering certain areas. Those are the kinds of changes. They're making grading standards a little bit more liberal. So beef is definitely, if you're a rancher, you're in a good market. Yeah. Then the other thing is, they did make note that you will have the lower fat options. It's not that lower fat's not available. It's just that whole milk will be available in the schools again. Okay. Now the downside of the impact of federal policies is that we are going through a global de-globalization. In the past, it was that if you had a piece of clothing on, it would probably touch 5 countries before it touched your body, right? That's not happening anymore. People are hunkering down. They're watching their carbon footprint. They're de-globalizing. But coming with that is also a slowbalization. Things are slowing down globally. So we don't have the rapid growth. And why is that? Because there's trade tensions. Right now, as I'm talking to you, there's 35 wars going on. Ukraine's a big one. Climate change's a big one. There's drought everywhere. At a recent NASDA conference, the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, we do state reports. It would have been better if we just stipulated every state's going through a drought, every state has climate change issues, every state has a fire, because every state has drought and a fire. So those are the things that climate change is causing. There's inflation, recession, food production is decreasing, social services and supports decreasing. I think it was Nietzsche or maybe it was Mao Zedong who said that social unrest happens when your population misses 3 meals. Now I remember Brian Miyamoto saying 3 meals, if I miss 1 meal, I'm socially unrested. So it's coming, our population in Hawaii is missing 3 meals a day, 10% of the time. That was a sobering fact at one of the briefings that we went to. Next slide. Okay, last year, like you, we were successful in getting some legislation through. I'll just spin through this. We had 3 goals: biosecurity, agricultural crime, and loan programs. We were successful in all 3. We had a 4th goal, which was statistics and market research. That particular bill died in conference. We're going to bring it back this year. Okay, biosecurity funding, control and mitigation of CRB, COKI, and LFA, risk management. There's a dashboard that we're mandated to have up by December, and we're on our way. We might even get it up late November. You'll be able to look, where are we attacking LFA, how many coconut trees did we treat today, what chemical did we use, all that information will be on there. Agriculture crime, that bill passed, it's called Duke's Law, and it makes agriculture a crime. Agriculture crime is a crime, and the DLE is in charge of this particular enforcement. It's a pilot program. DLE, Department of Law Enforcement. It's a new department, yeah. It's for Oahu and the Hawaiian Islands. It's a pilot program, but there's 9 positions. This is big. They have 9 positions to enforce agricultural crime. It's assistant chief, 2 investigators, and 3 officers on this island and 3 officers on Oahu. But here's where we need you. This law also established a fund. So when the penalties are collected, that goes into a fund. Now that fund pays you back. If they went through your fence and they stole something, that money goes back to the victims. It also goes back to hiring more enforcement officers. So how do I need your help? How do we need your help? Collecting evidence, Trespassing is a crime, okay? Duke would be alive today if the gentleman didn't trespass onto the property. So I talked to some of my flower growers, and he says, yeah, Sharon, but you know, they're looking for their dog. I said, no, they're not looking for their dog. You need to take a picture and say, you know what? If I see a dog, I'll take a picture, I'll send it to you, but you need to get off my property. Because the floriculture industry gets wiped out, you get wiped out. Ken tells me of all the thievery that goes on in stealing fruits, okay? So collect evidence, submit it to the crime hotline. I should have brought it with me, but because we need the trespassers to know it's trespassing, it's a crime. It's not hunting, it's trespassing. Okay, so then the last one is loan programs. This is really revolutionary, folks. 3%, the interest rate is capped at 4%. I don't know what the current lenders are doing, 6+ higher, but any loan you take through us is at 4%. This is supposed to help us double food production in the state. If you're a farmer, we want you to have at least access to capital. And we're the only state that, I'm told, we're the only state that offers loans to food manufacturers, cooperatives, and food hubs. So if you have a group of people that want to get together and do a hui, 4%. New farmers have a 3% interest rate. And we have a new program that's currently subject to rural adoption. It's to offer a line of credit and offer you a 3% rate if you grow things to replace imports. If you're working on import replacement, there's a loan for you.
So
Sir?
the food manufacturers, that includes us.
That-
Yeah,
that's what,
right?
yes.
So everybody here who has a product that they create with new laws and in the kitchen, they're manufacturing and selling, so they can apply to this so that they can upscale.
Right, your dream will come true, Ken. Your dream is gonna come true. Okay, so next slide. Here's where we are today. Okay, the state of the industry in Hawaii. Farms have decreased 10% from 2017 to 2022. The census is every 5 years. So let's see where we are in 27. The census, plural census, censi. Every year that falls on a 7 and a 2 is a census year. So the 2027 is the next year. We'll see where we are. But we lost 10% of our farms. Nationally, we lost about 7% of our farms. So folks, farms are on the decline. Now, there is an argument to say that the smaller farms are selling to the larger farms because the larger farms have increased, the number of larger farms, okay? So, what do they say? Agriculture relies on farmers and ranchers. Well, if we're losing our farmers and ranchers, not only in Hawaii, but nationally and globally, farms are gonna be on the decline. And with the global pressures that are out there that we just talked about, it's not a good strategy for food sustainability and food security to rely on imports. It's just not a good strategy. You know, you say, well, is it 80% we're bringing in or 90%? Let's say we bring in 100%. The numbers tell us it's not out there, folks. There's nothing to be imported that, I mean, Chad Buck put together a movie called M&Ms and Ketchup. If we want to import ketchup and M&Ms, it's probably going to be out there. Other than that, we're going to have to grow it ourselves. Okay, I mentioned 35 wars in Ukraine. Now, Ukraine used to be the breadbasket of Europe. Hello. Where's Europe going to get their food now? India, big producer of rice. They're not exporting any rice anymore. They're keeping all their rice. So we need to grow more food. And we have a very open ear in the back who understands that message. Next slide, please. Okay, so here's the numbers. In 2022, 64.4% of all the farms in Hawaii, all the 6,569 farms, were small farms. They were under 10 acres. 59.1% reported less than $10,000 in the value of sales. What does that tell you? Most of our farms are small farmers, subsistence. They just want to, really not interested in making a big splash in the market, but they grow enough food to take care of themselves, which is very, very important, right? So, despite the percentages, these farms occupied a small portion of the total agricultural lands. Even though 64% were under 10 acres and 60% were under reported sales. It's only 1.4% of the farmlands and 9.5% of farms with sales. So in contrast, 1.1%, 74 farms, just 74 farms in the state, which are more than 2,000 acres, occupied 78% of the land. So we've got a lot of big farms. We've got 74, only 1% of the farms in the state, but they're huge. 8.8% of the farms, 579, occupied 75% of the land. So if you wanted to double food production, which is what we have to do, who are you going to rely on? Who are you going to look to double your food production? Next slide, please. You're going to rely on the 579 farms that are pumping it out there, that are doing it. There are programs for the subsistence farmers. I just talked about the loan programs. You have microgrants for food security, our booth in the back, information on that. The microgrants for food security has about $3 million this year. That was supposed to roll out on October 20. Due to the shutdown, we're postponing the rollout, so watch for that announcement. So there are programs for the subsistent lifestyle type farmers. We're looking at the farmers that want to scale up. You're the ones that are going to help us double our food production and be sustainable in this state. And there's only 579 of you right now. Now there's a pitch at the end of this. If you're not filling out your NAS survey and you're pumping out production and you're doing your thing out there, you're not counted. So please fill out your NAS survey so we can make a point, okay?
NAS is.
Oh, I'm sorry, National Agriculture Statistics Service. Thank you, Ken. Next slide.
Plus, that's how the amount of money we get towards the state.
That's right, that's a good point. What they do is they say, how much specialty crops do you grow in the United States of America? Okay, all this big pie, and let's say they throw 100 million into that program. You are given the amount of money that you represent in terms of the reported sales. So out of 100, I think last year was 75 million, California got 22 million because they go out there and they get every farmer to report, okay? And they deserve it. They have a lot of specialty crops, right? We do too, we absolutely do. But our farmers don't report. I'm telling you, our farmers don't report. I will call big farmers and they'll say, Sharon, if you're gonna talk to me about the survey, I'm hanging up. Serious, this is true.
You're gonna send me a mark over it.
I know. So
George.
Why don't they want to report?
it's a lifestyle thing, I think. They just don't want anybody to know their business, you know. The
Then they
government,
have to pay taxes on it.
I'm not sure, but
Well,
they're,
did I say
in
that?
my opinion, we get $500,000 every year from specialty crop, okay? If everybody in the state would report it, we could easily get $1 million. We could double that number, but, okay, so tomorrow, I'm talking tomorrow now, okay? So the Hawaii Master Food Preservers, in 2026, we checked legislation, thank you, Jay. Yes, you did get your cottage food industry, something that you've been pushing for years and years and years. Finally, you made it, success. But you know, I checked, our planner checked, and in 2024 and 2025, there were no bills with the words off-grade, unharvested, unsold, unsaleable, discarded, culled, unmarketable crop waste for fruits and vegetables. Not one bill was introduced for past 24 and 25 with those words in it. That's your market, guys. You introduce no bills to help yourself. Okay, so I'm suggesting that you come up with legislation that helps you measure, maybe do a survey, what's out there, right? And what we have, anecdotally, is that off-grade, grade B produce with value add potential, we don't have any numbers for you. There's nothing that the national market, nothing we can get funding for because it's not credible. We're just guessing. You know, we can't say, well, we surveyed 579 farmers, 1,000 farmers, and we have nothing. I have nothing to go to Matthias and say, hey, representative, this is what your constituents are saying. Okay, you got my point? All right.
Yeah, Mark's been telling me that.
Mark's, you were right on, Mark.
Can I
Yes.
In this room here, how many of you grow food on a meal on a regular basis? Like, you know, you're growing things and it goes into your food table on a regular basis, just raise your hand. So that data doesn't show. You know, and that's a big, and then, you know, that's the thing, I ask this question every time I'm with a group of people. Usually it's about 50%. This group's pretty good, we're about like 75% we're doing that. But none of that data shows in any of this. The home garden does not show in any of the data.
You can't fund something you don't have data. You need to measure it.
But, yeah, so that's something that I don't know how to do it. I do know the university is always starting to do a survey on home gardeners.
They
And
just
they're
put
trying to
one
see
out
what their
now,
production on
like
home
in the
gardeners.
last month, they have a QR code for home gardeners to do a needs assessment survey.
If you generate $1,000 a year, or have the potential to generate $1,000 in value of sales, you're a farmer, you should fill out your NAS survey. You should definitely be counted. Okay, $1,000, who doesn't do that? George and I have a mango tree in our backyard. We have fruit trees, right? I think we could say we do $1,000 a year. Yeah. Anyway, so this is what we.
We could sell you more trees.
Yeah, I could. $30. So here's what we do have. We have off-grade, grade B produce with value-add potential. The Food Systems Working Group that was established by the legislature estimates that between 40 and 50% of all the fruit that we grow in Hawaii is off-grade. Anecdotally and crop-specific data suggests that maybe 5 to 15% may be called as unsaleable. Our economists applied a conservative calculation of 10% to the actual production of 120.4 million pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables and nuts, and estimate that out of this amount, 10%, 12.4 million pounds of off-grade produce may be available for value-add production. It's a big number, 12 million pounds, okay. So here's my suggestion. You don't have to ask me twice what I think. I think you should draft legislation. You have some really influential, powerful, interested, engaged, motivated legislators. And you should walk into their office and say, take a look at this. Could you help me fine-tune this so that I can introduce it? Or would you introduce it for me? Whatever it is that would help your industry. Draft something. Let them know what you're thinking. They don't, not that they don't know, but they really would like to hear from you. They want to hear what you want. Okay, I think you should establish collection points for food hubs and cooperatives to go, that if we have a bumper crop of something like dragon fruit, we can say, hey, you know what, let me just take this perfectly good dragon fruit that's gonna go bad, and we'll drop it off at this collection point, okay? And I need funding for NAS, National Agriculture Statistics Service, or the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. We have economists that come up with things that, if you're gonna be here at the Tropical Fruit Growers Survey, our Bonhi, he has a really good PowerPoint presentation for you with all the numbers that he gathered. Get numbers to do a survey. Lori, Ken, Mark, if you give maybe $25,000, they can do a really powerful survey of what is going on in your industry. It's going to take legislation. It's going to take money. Okay. The last slide. So tomorrow, the majority of farms in Hawaii are subsistent lifestyle producers. The goal of the state is to double food production, and it is a strategic goal. We need to do this, folks. If we don't do it, there's no food coming. There's no food being produced globally. We need to take care of ourselves. The goal of import replacement is achievable. We're good farmers. We can do this. You go down the aisles at the supermarkets, all the outside, the produce side. We can grow lettuce. We can grow carrots. All that stuff we can grow, but we bring it in and we buy it, right? Mangoes. We're bringing in mangoes. I don't want to hear from you, Ken, about avocados. Okay?
No. What bothers me is that when I go into any of the local markets, Derek gets here later, I can roast him about it, but why do I go in and the first thing I see is, California oranges, Mexican
Bananas.
avocados? And our stuff is Yeah, or mislabeled, but, I mean, our stuff should be up front and featured. by
Sounds
these
like a lot
stores,
to me.
And you need to call all of these people on the carpet and have them come into King Street and say, hey, guys, why don't you help us?
Yeah, so, you know, that's why they had country of origin labeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't help, because the country of origin labeling, like for green peppers is the best example. They have green peppers from Hawaii, from Mexico, from California, you know, from Peru and one other place.
In one bin.
In one bin.
I got it.
Right. So
Enforcement?
Which one did I use? Which one did I buy? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, I want you to know Ken sends me pictures all the time.
Not those kind.
Oh, yeah, not those kind. So
We
import.
don't wanna hear that.
Import replacement is achievable, but I'm gonna give a shout out to Governor Josh Green. He has been a champion for agriculture. He's pushing Act 90. Let's move more lands from conservation, DLNR, into the Department of Ag, and we're doing really well. Really well. A lot of ranches are moving over to Act, because of Act 90. He has the green fee. It's gonna generate about $100 million. And the waiting period, application period, I hope you submitted a project. And he's very, very much concerned about the well-being. I mean, he's a doctor. He's always saying to us at our meetings, who did you help today? You know, ask yourself at the end of your day, who did you help today? So he's on your side. Okay, so doubling food production must start with farmers and ranchers. We are going to try to provide infrastructure to you that are producing the food. We're targeting the middle of the supply chain, which was something the national side started with the RFSI, Resilient Systems Food Infrastructure. It was, so I went to Montana at the NASDA meeting. We were there in, was it Montana? Oh, anyway, we went to a 9-acre family-run hops farm. And they were 4 people, 9 acres, and through the RFSI grant, they applied for and received a harvester and a pelletizer. With those 2 pieces of equipment, they were able to produce enough hops to do the entire valley in Montana, the beer producers. If they didn't have that equipment, they would be doing everything manually or cranking it out. They would be nowhere. So we want to do that for you. We want to give you that one piece of equipment that you need to take you to the next level. It could be a a washer. It could be a simple thing like refrigeration. And if you're a poi maker, it could be a mill or a steamer. We need to just give you one thing you need to double your food production, and we want to do that. Last year, we had in 2025, through the federal RFSI, we had about 3 million, but 2.6 of that was awarded to 17 applicants, and we had over 100 applications. They were all shovel-ready applications. So we only were able to fund 17 with the funding that we have. We want to get more money to help move that needle a little bit. Okay, doubling food production means you have to control and mitigate your invasives. I want farmers, wouldn't it be nice if you could wake up one day and say, hey, you know what, I get to farm today. I don't have to worry about the pests that invaded my yard last night, right? I'm gonna help you with that.
Can't
With-
evacuate the whole island to Maui and then DDT everything so we can start over.
That needs a legislation. Let's work on that, Ken. Yeah, but you've got the support of your ledge, you know, you really do. Research, biocontrol, it's been globally decided that biocontrol is the best solution to invasives. Find the bug that eats the bug that's bothering you. Then it's gone forever. A pesticide, they get resistant, the insect mutates. Biocontrol is the best solution, okay?
Australia would have some issue with that.
With biocontrol?
Well,
Yes, but I mean, we're not talking mongoose. We've gone way beyond mongoose and cane toad, so we've got smart people
That's the
now.
problem.
We really do. Okay, the Clean Plant Initiative, something that we've been working on for years, and that is to provide clean germplasm, pretty much at a very low cost or in exchange for data. So we're gonna give you clean sweet potato, clean ulu, clean kalo, bananas, fruit trees, in exchange for data, right? That we can grow the industry. It's gonna take 1.7 million. We've got an earmark running through the Senate right now. I should say, we had an earmark running through the Senate. It didn't move forward. So we're introducing it on the local level. Hopefully we can do that. Every time there's a hurricane or a flood, you get wiped out, we wanna say, hey, here's new germplasm. Work with this. And that's the Clean Plant Initiative. Okay, and then, I'm done. That last slide. So we talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow's, you know, that song, tomorrow, tomorrow, we love you, tomorrow. You're always a day away, right? Let's make it happen, folks. Okay? Thank you.